Thank you for Center for Spiritual Living for inviting me back. It is an honor and a joy to bring you the message today. And throughout this year, the theme is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And all this month, the theme is Breathing in the View. And my topic fits perfectly with Thanksgiving, which is just passed, because my topic is being grateful. Now that sounds really simple, and I do want to break it down because there's a lot of mysticism and a lot of magic and technology that goes along with being grateful. Now, last time I was here, I talked about the 4 strands of gratitude. And if you missed that lesson, you can always catch it on a YouTube channel or where they have archived the previous sermons. And I will go through it just briefly right now, and I will focus on the 4th strand of gratitude. So the first strand of gratitude everybody does, and you probably did this for Thanksgiving, and that is you give thanks for what you see in that moment, and you do it once a year. So you say thank you for the turkey, thank you for my family, and then you wait until next Thanksgiving to be grateful. That's something that most people do. But when you want to take it up a notch, the next strand of gratitude, which is part of that one strand, is thankful for things that you can't see, like your safety, like your spleen. I can't see my spleen, but I'm thankful that it's working right now. The second strand of gratitude is actively looking for things throughout your day, for things to be grateful for. And it can be a flower sticking out of a crack in a cement. You're just grateful for that sunset that you saw. But you're actively looking for things to be grateful for. And then when you go up a notch, meaning that you are energizing your energy field and you are becoming grateful, this is an important step. The third strand of gratitude is being thankful for your past. Now, when we're thankful for our past, a lot of people will look at their past and they'll have shame and guilt and victim stories. But when you're grateful for your past, your story changes. And instead of being in victim mode, you're in gratitude mode. I'm so grateful that it happened because then I was able to move out of state. I'm so grateful for this because it made me stronger. It made me understand people and emotions and myself better. So you can always find things in your past that you're grateful for. Once you change that, you have energized a lot of your body chakras, meaning you've increased your energy. And when you increase your energy in gratitude, you become more one with the universe and more one with the powers that affect good. So let's talk about the 4th strand of gratitude. This is the highest level. Remember, you've been doing these practices of gratitude for a long time. When you get to the 4th, you become energetically the Christ consciousness, meaning you have the same thought process, the same heart as a God being, a light being, a shining one, as they say in Native American cultures. So the 4th strand of gratitude is when you are grateful for things that you can't see. Now, in traditional religion, we call that faith. This is an energy that you possess, that you are, and you're able to call forth out of gratitude the things that haven't happened yet. So, for example, you call forth your healing even though the doctor has given you a diagnosis of cancer. You affirm your healing and are grateful for your wellness, your health. You see the difference? You're not begging for healing. You're not asking for healing. You're affirming it. You are stating that it is already accomplished. And you begin to celebrate your healing long before the tests reveal that the cancer is healed. So keep in mind, You've been energetically looking for the good. You have been practicing this 4 strands of gratitude. And now you have come into the awareness of your power, your energetic power. And you are calling for something that regular people say hasn't happened yet or is impossible. But you see, there's nothing impossible as long as you're in that field of unity, that universal field of gratitude, because you're bringing forth the good with that energy. Now, we're living in a time where we can no longer think and act like mere mortals, because we're not, and we never have been. But we've been dummied down, we've been programmed, and we've been given instructions that cause us to doubt our own power. But this gratitude practice puts you in alignment with that God energy that you've always been. This does not happen overnight, but with regular practice you can do it. And with regular practice comes power. You're awakening the power that you are. You're awakening and stepping into the Christ consciousness. As a matter of fact, this hat, this Zulu hat, symbolizes one of the 5 rites of passage that a woman goes through. It's usually worn by married women who have a certain maturity. But one of the rites of passages is called becoming the spirit, or homecoming to the spirit. As you can see, it's narrow towards the skull, and then it inflates as it goes up. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are bringing in the messages of spirit. We are welcoming home that spirit that we are, that is in our DNA, and we're awakening it to our power. And so this hat symbolizes awakening to your power and welcoming home the spirit, which is a sign of maturity, spiritual maturity. And that's what we need at this time, to awaken ourselves to our true power. Now, I'd like to talk to you about how this can manifest. I think it was Pope John who said, he was asked by children, "What's your favorite food?" And he said, "My next meal, whatever I'm having for lunch." So what was he saying there? He anticipated the good. He anticipated the best is to come. And when you're doing that, you're setting yourself up into a vibration of good. You know, many people can anticipate the bad. That's easy to do in the times that we're living in. Whether you're talking to neighbors or you're talking to your family or you're on social media, there's always someone that is going to put forth the worst case scenario. And we're used to doing that. As a matter of fact, I remember growing up and my family would be sitting around the table and they would talk about their ailments and who had the worst ailment and what hurt the most, and what they were suffering from and what they were taking and that wasn't working. And they would try to, it seemed to me, from my perspective, one-up each other. So humans are trained to one-up each other in bad and negative. But how many people are anticipating, looking for the good? And when you do that as a way of life, as a way of breath, you take with you power in any situation that you're in, because your vibrational frequency is going to bring to you exactly what you expect. So it goes beyond belief. It goes on to, what do you expect out of life? What do you know to be true? And whatever that is, you're going to bring it, just like a magnet, into your life. Let me tell you about how you can actually affirm the good. So I moved to Sedona. I got a calling to move to Sedona from Las Vegas. I got the calling in January, the end of January. By February, I was actively looking. And by the end of February, I had found a place and was moving all of my belongings, or most of my belongings, in March. So this happened really quickly. But I was really clear about what I was doing and where I was heading and why I was heading to Sedona. As soon as I got my place, I went to the dollar store and I got up all of these balloons and all of these streamers and I put them on my porch. What was I doing? I was celebrating the new earth because I represent the womb, the birthing place of what I want to see in the world. I want a vision of equality. I want social justice. I want structures that are not racially designed to oppress. I want poverty to be eliminated. I want abundance for everyone. And so what am I doing? I am in the fourth strand of gratitude. I am affirming that it is here, even though in certain parts of society, they're still in lack, limitation. I have to be the one, and we have to be the one that have awakened to our true power to celebrate what we want to see in the world. We celebrate it now. If I am fighting against something, and I continue to lack a vision for what I want, then I will keep that energy that holds that negativity in place. Instead, when I have been working on my gratitude strands and they are strong, I'm ready for the fourth one and I celebrate the new earth. I celebrate that and I'm grateful every time I see my vision realized. And pretty soon what happens is I'm living in the new earth. And I see the other world when I turn on the media or when I speak to people that are not in the gratitude zone. I see what that is. But you see, I don't live in that space. I see it, I understand it, but I want to give people the vision and to step into their affirmative power of celebrating and being of gratitude when they see it. That's how we create the new earth. And I'm holding space for people that can come join me in this unified field. This is mysticism in action, love in action, affirmative prayer in action. Because when I become grateful, I begin to manifest all of those things quicker into the unified field so that it becomes flesh. My word becomes matter. My word becomes flesh. Let's take it a step further because we're living in a time where you need to vibrate with gratitude in order to birth this manifestation that I'm talking about. So it wasn't, I think it was 2020, right before the lockdown, right before the pandemic was announced. I had been having dreams, but as soon as I woke up, as soon as I moved, I couldn't remember the dreams. So even when I tried to reach for a journal to write it down, I just couldn't remember any of the specifics. So I talked to the universe. I said, you know, God within me, God around me, Father, Mother, God, if you want to deliver a message to me, it has to be in my waking time. And I will remember it and I will jot it down and I will just be so grateful to have it in my daylight time. Well, as soon as I did that, I went out to the national park right behind my house the vastness of this national park, and I decided to go hiking, a short hike. I had never been on this trail before. I wasn't even wearing the right shoes. I didn't have a water in my backpack. I was so ill prepared. I just thought, well, this will be really great to take some pictures. One of the things that I forgot was to charge my phone. So I went on this hike. I had about 2% charge on my phone. And as I was walking, I was talking to this one person, and he was telling me about his experience, and we were kind of on the trail together. Beautiful scenery. And then I lost the trail. That other person went off. I thought they were off the trail. Turns out I was off the trail. I didn't realize it at the time. So I started walking and walking, and pretty soon there were caverns. So I'm living in Las Vegas at the time. There are lots of rocks and caverns and all kinds of desert architecture going on out there. And I found myself walking along, and I was surrounded by caves or caverns that were extremely high on both sides. If you've been to Antelope Valley, this is kind of what I was walking through, just not too far from Las Vegas. And it was starting to get dark outside. So it's starting to be about 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm starting to kind of get a little panicked because I don't see the gentleman that I was talking to. I figure that I'm off the trail. Should I go back or should I go forward? So I kept going forward, and I noticed that my thoughts were my enemy or my nemesis. I started thinking, well, what if mountain lions come out? And I kept thinking, in these little caverns, a mountain lion could hide. So I was figuring that I was going to manifest a mountain lion because I was thinking about it. I was obsessing about it, and I was making myself scared. And so then I said, okay, Carmen, let's control these thoughts. This is just a cavern. It's really pretty. Just look straight ahead. I looked straight ahead. I came out of the caverns, and I realized that if I could just get to the other side. I was walking in the right direction, but I needed to get to the other side. What was keeping me from going to the other side? A mountain. There was a mountain there, and I'm not over analyzing this and saying it was a molehill, but it was really a mountain. It was a mountain. And in my head, I said, well, I can never get up to there. I don't have the right shoes. I don't have water. I don't have a lot of stuff on my phone if I fall and I get hurt. All of these things were going in my mind, but I also knew that salvation, if you will, was on the other side of that mountain. But I knew that my mentality needed to be different in order to get to where I needed to go. And so I, step by step, started telling myself who I was. And you know what I said? I said, I am a mountain climber. Now, I don't even do well in those structured places where you have your foot goes this way, those mountain climbing walls. I'm not even good on that, and that's with a harness. But here I was, affirming who I am. And isn't that so biblical, so spiritual? I even wrote a book called The I Am Solution, because the solution to every problem or every situation is you affirming and knowing who you are at any given time. At that time, I needed to be a mountain climber. So I, in my mind, was saying, I got this. I'm a mountain climber. I'm a mountain climber. Go, Carmen. Go, Carmen. You're a mountain climber. You're a mountain climber. And step by step, I started climbing up. Now, also, I knew that every time I looked up, I would see how far I needed to go. And that could be daunting. So in my mind, I said, I'm not going to look up to see how far I need to go. I'm going to pay attention to where my next step is. My next step And where's my next step? And where's my next step? And I kept saying, I am a mountain climber. I reached the top and was able to obviously safely get back to my car. But all while I was walking back to my car, I was still saying, oh my gosh, you got this. You're a mountain climber. I made it into a song. I was cheering. By the time I got to my car, I was saying, okay, Carmen, you did it. You don't have to sing that anymore. But one of the things that I got from that whole experience, and I was so grateful for it, and it was a real experience, because remember, I asked the universe, don't send me a dream, and it was like a dream. Just give me these experiences in person so that I can remember it. So as soon as I got home, I started writing down the messages that I got from that whole experience. And here's what I gleaned from that. Your mind is your greatest treasure. And Ernest Holmes created the science of mind. He knew that our instructions and how we're brought up determine how we can manifest our power and whether we can manifest our power. And it depends on who you think you are, who you believe you are, but mostly who you know you are. And we are divinity. We are incredibly made in the image and likeness of God. And when we know that, we're able to turn any situation around because nothing is impossible. But I noticed when I didn't know who I was, I began to get scared. I began to think that external forces like a mountain lion or the night sky was going to get me. But when I started to know who I was more powerful than anything that I was going to encounter on that trip. As a matter of fact, it's fine to have some cell bars when you're going out on a hike. Yes, it's fine. That's important to have. But I was in a position where I could only depend on me and the power that was within me. So I had to draw on every ounce of DNA magic that I have within me. And what I began to do was I began to affirm who I was. And the only name that God gave himself was to Moses. And Moses says, who are you? And that voice from the burning bush, from that light said, I am that I am. And so when you're in any situation, you have to call forth, who are you? Are you a warrior? Are you a peace giver? Are you a mountain climber? Are you a nurturer? Are you a lover? All of those things in the moment will be your salvation. So I was also told not to look too far in the future. Don't look all the way up that mountain because you could get discouraged based on what you see. But when you're in that spiritual realm of gratitude and knowing who you are, you just know that right now, in the present moment, I've got this. Right now, in the present moment, I've got this. Right now, in the present moment, all that I am is here in this moment, and nothing is impossible. I don't have to be focused on way out in the future or how high that mountain is. As long as I know that each step, yes, 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 the sacred yes. And then you begin to know through and through who you are. And so even though I was done with the mountain, I was still on the high of what I had just been through. I was still on the high of divinity. And I was so grateful because that energy is just so comforting, energizing, and powerful. I don't want you to forget how powerful you are, because in any situation, you've got this based on affirming who you are. And I call that being grateful. You are being grateful. You are being gratitude. You are being the energy of God, which is that higher frequency. So that is the fourth strand of gratitude. You are affirming your power. You're affirming who you are. And based on that, you affirm and celebrate the new earth, the unified field, the oneness, all of that. When we know who we are, it's not outlandish to manifest. That's what you're created to do. God is a creator. We are creators. So when you know who you are, you create from that knowing. You can't help but do that. You bring forth what you are, the Word made flesh. So the four strands of gratitude is how you get there. The fourth strand is magic, miracles, or as the monks say, technology. Let's take a deep breath right there. Stepping into your power, becoming the homecoming of the Spirit that manifests, that brings forth. All of that is in you. I can tell you that I was so grateful for that dream because it really set me up for 2020. It really set me up for these times that we're living in. And I want you to know that a lot of people, their thoughts went to the scariest scenario. Their thoughts went to an external force, whether it's the pandemic or anything else that is coming to get them or coming to get their family. And that's a very scary place to be. But what I was told by Spirit is to really pay attention to your thoughts. And whenever you notice that you're afraid of something outside of you, it's letting you know that there is nothing outside of you that is more powerful than what you have within you. You have the God of the universe standing where you are, inside your heart, and let him inside your thoughts. And there's nothing that God is afraid of. So where you walk, 2020, 2021, 2022, and beyond, know that you got this based on who you know you are. And you are powerful. You are awesome. And most of all, you have everything that you need. And isn't that joyous and something to be grateful for? So become grateful. Love you.